Army of the Dead. A group of mercenaries decides to carry out the largest heist ever held in the city of Las Vegas right after an epidemic of the undead occurs. To do this, they will have to enter a quarantine zone with all the risks that this venture entails. This horror, thriller and action movie has an interesting plot, but for us it was foolish, with plenty of ridiculous moments and situations that spoil the film. The performances, special effects and scenography are all good. Honestly, we believe that they could have done a much better movie with a more believable story within the zombie genre, with less boring and ridiculous parts, so we give it 2 stars out of 5. Bram Stoker's Van Helsing. When his fiancée Lucy is the victim of a mysterious illness, Arthur Holmwood asks Dr. John Seward, a former rival, for help. Seward calls his mentor, Professor Van Helsing, who quickly discovers the sinister truth behind the illness. This horror and drama movie is not original and is nothing more than a recent adaptation of the Van Helsing story. The performances of the entire cast are average and some are even mediocre. Together with bad special effects and makeup, make this film boring to watch, so we give it 1 star out of 5. Crisis. A drug trafficker organizes a smuggling operation between the United States and Canada, while a recovering addict tries to uncover the truth behind his son's disappearance. This thriller, drama and crime movie is interesting but far from being spectacular. The performances, scenography and special effects are all decent. The story is a bit exaggerated and slow as it tries to cover a lot of information that make the film confusing and hard to follow. Nevertheless, it's a movie worth watching, so we give it 3 stars out of 5. Great White. A seaplane excursion to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia becomes a nightmare for a group of young people when they are attacked by an enormous great white shark. Stranded on the high seas on a fragile lifeboat, the group will have to use all their skills to confront the monstrous threat lurking underwater. This Australian drama and thriller movie is similar to other films about killer sharks, so it's not original at all. The story is interesting but predictable, as you know from the start that the shark is going to eat very well that day. One thing we found funny is that from the beginning they present to you a character so annoying and unpleasant that you can't wait to see him or her being eaten by the shark. The performances, the scenography and special effects are all decent. There are some parts that are ridiculous, but overall the movie is entertaining and worth watching, so we give it 3 stars out of 5. Jacob's wife. Married to the priest of a small town, Anne feels that her life has stalled in the last 30 years. Finding the master, a vampire, gives her a new sense of power and desire to live a riskier life, but at a high cost. This horror and thriller movie has an interesting story, but it's not scary at all. There are some ridiculous parts, with some performances being bad and mediocre special effects, especially the makeup, which is laughable. Believe it or not, because the movie can be fun to watch, we give it 2 stars out of 5 instead of 1. Promising Young Woman. Cassie had a bright future ahead of her until a nasty incident affected her career. Now, nothing in her life is what it seems. She's smart, she's bold, and she lives a double life at night. Cassie has a chance to amend everything that didn't go well in her past by taking her revenge on the culprits. This drama and crime movie with a dose of black humor is interesting, original, and entertaining. The film starts a bit slow, but as the story unfolds, it keeps you in suspense. The performances of the entire cast are good, so we give it 3 stars out of 5. Souvenir. To reunite with her young son held in the United States, Isabel decides to rent her belly to carry Sarah and Joaquin's baby, a possessive couple obsessed with the idea of starting a family. When a complication ruins her plans, Isabel turns to an acquaintance, Bruno, a novelist who has an aversion to fatherhood. This decision will irreversibly alter the fate of the four. This Mexican drama movie has a story similar to other films that explore the same theme. The performances are decent, but there are some parts that are slow and full of cliches that make this film an average production. So we give it 2 stars out of 5. Space Boy. An 11-year-old talented boy secretly builds an air balloon with his friend Emma to prove to his father that anything in life is possible. This Belgian adventure movie has a nice story with a good message, making it fun and pleasant to watch, with good performances and special effects. This is definitely a good option for family movie night, so we give it 3 stars out of 5. Tentacles. Tara and Sam are a madly in love couple who share absolutely everything in their lives, something that would forever change their intimacy in a terrifying way. This horror, drama and fantasy movie is more a dramatic story about the psychotic fantasies of a couple in trouble and their issues, instead of a horror flick. Both the main characters and the whole story bored us, and we strongly believe they could have made a much better movie, so we give this production 1 star out of 5. Twist. After a close encounter with the law, Oliver Twist escapes to London, where he meets a gang of young con artists who, under Fagging's leadership, use their skills to carry out the heist of the century. This crime, drama and action movie is an ingenious and interesting adaptation of Dickens' novel, with an entertaining plot and good performances, so we give it 3 stars out of 5. Without remorse. John Kelly, a former US Navy SEAL, seeks revenge to take down his wife's killer. But in doing so, he discovers that he has been caught up in a much larger conspiracy. This action, thriller and adventure movie has a plot that sounds interesting, but the way it's showcased in the film is exaggerated with ridiculous parts and situations that are hard to believe. For us, the performance of the main actor was bad, as it comes across as arrogant, not credible, and simply we couldn't feel any sympathy for him. The performances of the rest of the cast are decent. The scenography, set designs, and special effects are all good. The novel is much better than this film, so we give it 2 stars out of 5. Wrath of Man. The mysterious new security guard of a money transport truck surprises his teammates by demonstrating his skills during a robbery. Everyone wonders who he is, where he comes from, but soon the motives of an unknown shooter will be revealed while he must take action and settle accounts. This action and crime movie is a remake of the 2004 French film Cash Truck, and is entertaining with good performances, set designs and action scenes that keep you interested, so we give it 3 stars out of 5.